Hello guys, I hope you all are doing well. Today is Monday, so we are to study something theoretically and accordingly we'll plan. So, emergency, the 16th chapter of Indian polity Lakshmikant, national emergency has already been covered in one of our videos, of which the link is in description, and the precedence rule is what this video is gonna cover. Why am I choosing precedence rule is that precedence rule has been an important portion also with all of these Maharashtra issues and everything that has been coming up. Precedence rule has been in the news for a longer period of time. So precedence rule becomes important. We'll discuss about the whole concept. We'll know everything all in reference to Indian polity Lakshmikant, and why I refer to that is so that you can also open it up right beside you and refer to this video along with. So let's begin with the video. Watch it till the end. Okay, so when we start with the precedence rule, this is Indian polity Lakshmikant, and the first topic that comes under precedence rule is grounds of imposition. When and how can a precedent rule be imposed? And there are two articles mentioned under it, Article 355 and Article 356, after which you will also find a mention of Article 365. Now 356 and 365, very confusing but very easy, and in a very crisp format if you really want to know. See, Article 355 is that I have imposed a duty on you that you have to work according to the rules of this organization, this constitution. So 355 is a duty on the center to ensure that the state government is doing its duty well, is carrying on things with the provisions of the constitution. This is the sole Article 355. And what is Article 356? That I have been given the power that if my duty of looking at you, you are not doing it well, I can very well then act on it and take actions according to it. So in simpler terms, what 356 is that it is this duty in performance of which the center takes over the government of a state, and in case of failure, then Article 356 can be implied, and 356 is exactly the precedence rule, also known as state emergency or constitutional emergency. So this is Article 355, where a duty is on the center to ensure that the governance is carried on well according to the provisions of the constitution, and 356 is that if it's not performed well, then the 356 is implied, and which is precedence rule, state emergency or constitutional emergency. Then if you look at the precedence rule can be proclaimed under Article 356 on two grounds. Now one is already mentioned in 356 and the other is in 365. What does 356 say? 356 says that the president, if they have to issue a proclamation for the rule, if president is satisfied that yes, there is a situation in the state government that the provisions are not being carried along well and everything, president in itself can impose this proclamation of the president's rule. And 365 says that whenever a state in itself has failed to comply or give effect to any direction from the center, then it becomes lawful for the president to hold a situation that president's rule has to be imposed. So the difference is that 356 is president in itself issues a proclamation, 365 is that president has to. But in ordinate way, if you look at it, it is both the same thing, that at the end the president's rule is imposed. This is Article 356, Article 365 and Article 355. This is the only difference, nothing else. Now there was a question in UPSC CSE 2018 where if the President of India exercises his power blah 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 in respect of a particular state, then the assembly of the state is automatically dissolved. This you will know in this very video that no, this does not happen. powers of the legislature of that state shall be exercisable by or under the authority of the parliament. Yes, this is the correct answer. And then Article 19 is suspended in that state. If you've seen my last video or revised with that, you will know that that happens in national emergency and not in president's rule. And the president can make laws relating to that state. Well, if you look at this video thoroughly, you will know that this happens only when the state legislature is dissolved, and also even then the president can make laws only if the parliament delegates it to it. So D is again not correct. So the correct answer is B. Now let's move into the chapter. Now there is an interesting concept which is called parliamentary approval and duration. For people who are figuring out why is this topic here, because at the end whatever president is doing cannot do without parliament. So anywhere, even in the president's rule, there is a parliamentary approval and a proper duration is set according to which the president's rule is imposed. So let's look into what are the durations and how can a parliament approve in its own way that it can. So the first thing that's given is that a proclamation when a president's rule is imposed must be approved by both the houses. So here there's nothing that Lok Sabha has greater power or Rajya Sabha has lesser power, and this has to be done within 2 months from the date of its issue. But if the proclamation is issued at a time when Lok Sabha has been dissolved, then what happens? That the proclamation survive until 30 days from the first sitting of the Lok Sabha, also where Rajya Sabha has already approved. So if Rajya Sabha hasn't approved, this goes in vain. If Rajya Sabha has approved, then until 30 days from the first sitting. This is the same thing that happens once the president rule is to be extended. So what is the extension of president rule? The president rule can be extended for a maximum period of 3 years. So if there is a question that president rules can be extended, innumerable number of times, now. So maximum period of 3 years, and every 6 months it is continued. So in short way, every 6 months again there has to be an approval that has to be sought, and again if at that point of time Lok Sabha has been dissolved, then it survives until 30 days from the first sitting of the Lok Sabha until provided Rajya Sabha approves it. So this is the proclamation how president rule has to be imposed, and every resolution approving the proclamation of president's rule can be passed by either house by a simple majority. So there is a simple majority, and for the Fourth Amendment Act of 1978 brought in different things. Why? Because we all know that was the Morarji Desai government that came in power, and it changed a lot of 42nd Amendment things, because 42nd Amendment was mini constitution and a lot of things had happened. So 44th Amendment Act brought in, there would be a new provision which would act as a restraint on the power of parliament. Why was it necessary? To check the powers of the president, check the powers of the parliament, and accordingly proceed. So what was it? There was that beyond 1 year the president rule can be extended by 6 months. So this is the same as it was in the constitution, but it can be only extended if the two conditions are fulfilled. What are the two conditions? First, proclamation of national emergency should be in operation in the whole of India or in some part. And second, that election commission must certify that general elections to the legislative assembly of the concerned state cannot be held on account of difficulties. So after these two conditions are satiated, only then can things come up. So this was about everything regarding the parliamentary approval and its duration. Then you have consequences of president's rule. What happens when president's rule is imposed and everything. So the president acquires the following powers. What all are them? He can take up the functions of the state government and powers vested in the governor or any executive authority in the state. So he can take up the functions. He can declare the powers of the state legislature as to be exercised by the parliament. and he can take all other necessary steps, and that includes the suspension of the constitutional provisions relating to any body authority in the state. So when a precedent rule is imposed, president dismisses the state council of ministers headed by the chief minister, and the state governor carries on the state administration with the help of the chief secretary of the state and appointed by the president. So they are also all appointed by the president. And this is the reason why a proclamation under Article 356 is popularly known as the imposition of president's rule in a state, because things go on, the administration keeps working, but everything, the work, everything is, on the advice or which is appointed by the president. So this is all, everything which works on the work is continued, but everything is done as in how it is appointed by the president. That is why it's called the president's rule. Further, president either suspends or dissolves the state legislative assembly, and the parliament passes the state legislative bills and the state budget. So it's again the parliament and not the state legislative assembly. Now, there was another question in UPSC 2017 prelims: which of the following are not necessarily the consequences of the proclamation of the president's rule in a state? So now you know this question is directly from the small paragraph that we've just read. So now you'll see how your mind will just blow off. Even after reading that, you'll have to refer to a lot of things before answering this question. So the first point is dissolution of the state legislative assembly. Now this is tricky because the president might dissolve or might suspend, but it's not necessary that happens. So this is the correct answer. This does not happen. Removal of the council of ministers in the states, this genuinely happens because the parliament takes over and everything. And dissolution of the local bodies, no, the local bodies keep going as they were. So the correct answer is B, 1 and 3, because 1 and 3 are the not necessarily the consequences of the proclamation of the president's rule in a state. Now let's continue again. When the state legislature is suspended or dissolved, Parliament can delegate the power. If the Parliament has delegated the power to the president or any authority as given, then they can make laws conferring powers and imposing duties on the centers or its officers and authorities. And the president can authorize when the Lok Sabha is not in session, and all the expenditures and everything the president can then authorize, and the president can promulgate when parliament is not in session that the ordinances for the governor of the state. So ordinances can be seen, the expenditure can be seen by the president, and the rest too depends on the parliament. If the parliament delegates the power to the president can then make laws and everything. But if it doesn't, it controls everything by itself, then the parliament does the work. This is what are the consequences of president's rule. Now if you look at use of Article 356, this whole paragraph states everything how Article 356 has been used up to now, and so diligently the way B.R. Ambedkar and the way every other people, the respectable people who were there in the Constituent Assembly phasing out our constitution and everything, they had imagined that this would be used only when it would be a measure of last resort. It was a dead letter, as he called. So this whole paragraph, the small portion, is about that how diligently the people who have been taking up the constitution and the government and everything, they have somehow used it and kept using it. In so many times it had been misused, but in the initial way, when you think about it, what exactly did Dr. B.R. Ambedkar imagine about it was something which is the opposite, and that is why you look at the last paragraph where it's written that the subsequent events show that what was hoped to be a dead letter has turned to be a deadly weapon against a number of state governments and legislative assemblies. And this is something that you can write if there's a question on president's rule, its analysis, or anything like that, according to what the answer requires. Then we come to scope of judicial review. In this, there was 38th Amendment Act, which said that satisfaction of the President in invoking Article 356 is final and conclusive, which could not be challenged in any court. But this provision was deleted by again 44th Amendment Act, that the satisfaction of the President is not beyond judicial review. It is not beyond that. Then we also have in Bomai case, following propositions have been laid down, and these are the several propositions that were given, that yes, presidential proclamation imposing precedence rule is subject to judicial review, and if the court holds the presidential proclamation to be unconstitutional and invalid, it has the power to restore the dismissed state government and revive the state legislative assembly if it was suspended or dissolved. So these were certain points that were there in Bomai case, where a lot of things had been said by Supreme Court on imposition of precedence rule in a state under Article 356, and this is something which is very tricky. Till today there has been no questions asked from this, but Article 356 there has been a question. So after this we have cases of proper and improper use. Then if you look at cases of proper and improper use, which is the last portion under precedence rule in emergency provisions chapter from Indian polity Lakshmikant, you will find that how in Bomai case the situations were enlisted where exercise of power of Article 356, whether it's proper or improper, and a lot of things were kept up. So this is again several things that were given, like where after general elections to the assembly no party secures a majority, that is hung assembly, where so imposition of precedence rule in a state would be proper in these situations, where a ministry resigns after its defeat in the assembly and no other party is willing to be able to form a ministry, or where a constitutional direction of the central government is disregarded, or internal subversion is there, or physical breakdown where the government willfully refuses to discharge its constitutional obligations. So in short, when it's the same thing, when the state administration is falling down, the duty of the center to look at it is not seen. When Article 355 is breached, Article 356 comes into effect, and these are the things how it works. And the imposition of precedence rule in a state would be improper under these several situations which are there, and these you should really go through, because UPSC might just ask 2 points or 3 points from here and ask whether they are proper under the precedent rule scenario or not, and something like that. So this is about the cases of proper and improper use. Alright guys, this was it with the Monday's video, the precedent rule in the best possible way that we could cover. And obviously when I look at it after the next revision over this video, I'll be like, yeah, I could have added this or that or something more to it. But definitely this is the benefit of revising. If you come back to this after a week or so, you will again find it useful, but you can clearly demarcate between what extra you've learned. So this is the beauty of the video, this is the beauty of Ideal Bibliotheca, and this is the beauty of you people supporting us so that we can also proceed and you can also proceed. So this is how we are gonna keep other videos also. We meet next on Wednesday. Until then, keep studying, and thanks for watching.